Huh?
It's okay. I didn't let it for myself. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm super happy to see everybody here. Some faces new, some faces are right here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lama, for accepting the invitation.
Yes.
It's really glad to have you here. The teachings are great. Thank you, everybody online. Yeah, just practical matters. We have a break in 1 hour and a half, so 11:30, and we have coffee break just here on the balcony. So we just got out in the left. This is our offering, so please feel free to have a tea, biscuits, and coffee. Then we have lunch. The lunch you need to pay for the hotel, so you can also have lunch here or outside. So feel free to choose what's better for you. I just need that you let the hotel know in the break, because then they prepare for everybody and arrive all the food together. Otherwise, they can be tricky. And we have just 1 hour break, so please, if you go outside, come back in 1 hour. And I think that's all for now. We have 3 sessions today, so we have another session after lunch, and we finish at 4. And we can send the recorders for you later. And we also have tomorrow. Same. Thank you. This is the difficult part.
Okay. Sangye Jodang Soge Zonamla Chancho Bado Dane Yabso Che Dage Soge Pesona Tola Benje Sangye Duba Jo Sangye Jodang Soge Zonamla Chancho Bado Dane Yabso Che Dage Junyi Pesona Tola Benje Sangye Duba Jo Sangye Jodang Soge Zonamla Chancho Bado Dane Yabso Dage Junyi Pesona Tola Benje Sangye Duba. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Mind and mental factors, I think, is a important topic in Buddhist philosophy. So throughout Buddha's journey on this earth, 2,600 years ago, the main discovery in regards to what do we say, the concept of liberation was the discovery of the mind, I think. Now, when I say the mind, generally the mind is categorized in many different forms, from a scientific perspective. I think it's mostly put into the concept of theory, but in Buddhism it's not put into the concept of theory. It's what do we say, it's proven through contemplation, so through analysis. And then in other cultures, mind is described in many ways. In some cultures is described as sort of like a creation sort of thing. Some cultures sort of integrate mind as the soul or something like that. So there is many different interpretations and ways that people. You can hear me, okay? Yes. So though there are many different ways that people interpret within the system of the Buddhist philosophy, sort of like an what we call atheist, sort of like an atheist belief. There's no creator, there's no concept of within the philosophy they call it jizu. Jizu is like the ultimate sort of like the ultimate general sort of thing, right? So where all the powers are in one form or in one object or in something that can empower other things. So because Buddhism is not a philosophical system that believes in that, so there is no integration of that when it comes to the mind. So because of that, then through the experiences of realization at Buddha's time, then Buddha discovered, because the concept of renunciation, the concept of cause and condition, the concept of continuity, the concept of action, these come together to form what we call karma, right? The concept of karma is nothing other than nothing other than cause and condition, nothing other than continuity, nothing other than action itself. So I think before we start going deeper into mind and mental factors and the different levels of the mental factors and how they integrate and how they work, so on and so forth, I thought maybe just to get a strong grasp on what we are actually talking about. So in Buddhism, if you are already practitioners or practitioners, then you would be more familiar with it. But if you are not, then in Buddhism, the concept of liberation is the concept of freedom, nothing other than freedom. Liberation, I think, is described as true freedom, and that true freedom is what we say is taken through a process or through practice of developing the mind. Yeah. So it's not about developing the body, it's not about developing external, it's not about creating external things, it's not about achieving things, it's all internal. Now the reason that is implied is because external objects depend on internal conceiving. Yeah, external objects, everything that we see externally. Now here first we talk about form. So everything we see externally as form, as solid, that is dependent on the projection of the mind. If you did not exist, then the form, you projecting the form, would not exist, and because you projecting the form would not exist, therefore the form would cease to exist to you. So that's one thing. How I see things is completely different from how someone else sees the same exact same thing. And this is because our views and perspectives towards it is completely different. And that comes down to the concept of the mind, why it is different. Yeah. So mind put together, I think it's a bundle of emotions and what do we say, cognitions and awareness and all kinds of different what do we say, mental factors that come together to shape a certain this is where we say identity, right? Inner identity in some ways. So come together to shape sort of like an inner identity, and through that inner identity, then the verification of how our mind's able to see and perceive, now that differs. If I had an experience with a person, let's say if I had a bad experience with a Nepali, I come to Nepal first time, I had a bad experience, that sort of thing, then the mind sort of sees it in a different way. Then let's say I go to India and I experience what is the amazing experience. Now you can start to understand that the different experiences, the projection is completely different. Although the external is pretty much the same, you have houses, you have mountains, you have fields, you have clouds, you have traffic, you have all of that. Even though even that is same, our internal way of perceiving things completely changes. Yeah? So because of that, then comes understanding through perceiving. So how we understand things is we understand things through that ability to perceive. So the definition of the mind, when we generally say mind, then seshi rikpa, silwa, clear. Yeah, and rikpa is able to, what do we say, rikpa, cognize, ability to cognize, what they call, right? Rikpa, cognize. Yes. So rikpa, ability to cognize. Selshing, that one defines that the mind in general is not manipulated by anything. Yeah, when you take the experiential side that is created after the first what we say, the first cognition. Yeah, so when you see something, you see a form, the first cognition gives you the appearance of the form, and based on the appearance then comes all of the secondary experiences that follows, right? So now the secondary experiences are based a lot on, like I said, past experiences. Most of them are cheshe, as we say. Cheshe is sort of like recognition. So once cognized, your ability to cognize a second time, sort of thing. So because of that projection, then comes validation, then comes projection, then comes how you want to react, then comes all of those things follows after that. This is why within the concept of karma as well, the first potential step of creating a karma is motivation. Motivation has everything to do with the mind. Yeah, you want to get rich. What is the first step? Motivation. Without the motivation, you can't go that way. Yeah, you want to travel the world. What is the first step? Motivation. Without motivation, action does not come. And even if the action does come, then most likely procrastination, laziness, oh yeah, I'll do it, that starts to kick in. So therefore, it doesn't happen. So therefore, we start to see that yes, whenever there is an action, that action is followed by the mindset, a concept, a view, a perspective, something that has to do with perceiving, something that has to do with cognizing. And through that perceiving and cognizing, then there is reasoning that appears through that perceiving and cognizing. If there was no reasoning, if there is no logical side, no logical reasoning side to the mind, then the ability for the mind to perceive and see something and then judge or label, that is not going to happen at all. So the reasoning or the what we call the contemplation side happens after the cognition side. And through that, then comes our emotions. After the reasoning, then the emotions start to appear. You see a person, you don't like the face, you don't like the look, you don't like the way the clothes that he or she wears, so on and so forth. After that, once you see that, first it's just a projection, but once you see that, then the ability to cognize what is there. And then through that recognition, then the concept starting to analyze, contemplate, and then through that contemplation, then comes the emotions, then comes the reactions. Yeah, then comes your ability to do something, whether you want to do something about it or whether you don't want to do something about it or whether you want to ignore it or whether. So that sort of becomes very clear after that following. So because of that, then every step in our daily life from the day we were born, yeah, when your mother does not give attention, even unknowingly or without awareness, clear awareness, we still cry. They're still crying. When the stomach is hungry, then they're still crying. When the feeding starts to happen, then the crying sort of settles down. When the mother comes and cradles you, then the crying sort of like stops. So you already see at that level, when your mind is still, growing, or when your mind is still receiving new experiences each day and and accumulating wisdom in regards to experience, even on that stage, at the first stage, still the same thing happens. Yeah, once the recognition starts to happen, then the reaction starts to happen. So one of the first recognition is recognizing the shape and the form of the mother. So the moment you recognize the shape and the form of mother, if someone else who's not your mother or not you don't recognize comes and cradles you, then reaction starts to happen after that. So even at that stage, this process happens. Now throughout your life, you experience every single day until this day. So throughout your life, while you are growing up in your childhood, teenagers, then in your early late teens, then early 20s, so on and so forth, you look throughout your life, every experience is the exact same thing. First we say namshe, what do you call? Number sheba is like the primary mind. Yeah, let's call it the primary mind. So within the primary mind, we have primary. Yeah, primary mind. So within the primary mind, then we have the visual, the ear, then the smell, then the taste, then the tactile. Yeah, you call it tactile. Yeah, then is the mental side. So these are the 6 primary minds as we normally talk about. So, so first is always through these 6 means comes the utilization of understanding. Yeah? And then so through that, because everything comes through these things. So and then the reliance on these things, you see that the first 5, yeah, we say namshe, migi namshe, nai namshe, che namshe, lugi namshe, lugi namshe. Yeah, so you have the eye, the nose, the mouth. What is the eye is with form, then nose is with smell, then ear is with sound, then tongue is with taste, then tactile is with the body. Yeah, or senses we call. So these 5, you already see that it depends so much on the body. The moment the body ceases to exist, then this one also ceases to exist. This cannot exist. So it's questionable when people say, oh, you know, when they have death experience, then they say, oh, I saw this and I saw that and I see. It's questionable whether you actually see it or not. Yeah, of course, it's like a dream. Your eyes don't function, but you tend to, and this is not seeing. This is, you can very clearly say that when you're sleeping and your eye consciousness is not functioning, that is more of a creation rather than seeing. Because seeing has to do with the eye consciousness, and the eye consciousness has to do with the eye organ. When the eye organ does not function, then that means the eye consciousness cannot, what do we say, cannot perceive what the eye organ is perceiving. So that definitely is there. So whether it's a creation of the mind, when the mind is using new forms and new ways and new things, and what we call utilization of jeshe, recognition, utilizing of the recognition mind to what do we say, what do you call, make appear, yeah, make appear forms, make appear visualize sort of thing. Yeah, so this one definitely there, I think. So because of that, so now we start to say, okay, the body related to the first 5 segments of the primary mind, completely dependent on the body. If my eyeball, something happened with my eye organ, then the eye consciousness completely stops. There is no more eye consciousness coming after that. Visualization is nothing to do with eye consciousness. That has everything to do with the mental consciousness. Yeah, so that one we take apart. Same thing with the nose and the mouth and the ear, and this one we already see with, you know, if you have certain issues with certain things, then you start to see things in different ways, you start to taste things in different ways, you start to sense things in different ways. So that is definitely there. So complete reliance on the body, the first 5 primary senses, complete reliance on the body. But then coming down to the concept of impermanence in Buddhism, impermanence is none other than continuity. If it's impermanent, that means it has to continue. Without continuing, without the concept of continuity, you cannot, what do we say, you cannot prove the concept of impermanence. Yeah, we say this cup is impermanent. Why do we say this cup is impermanent? Because there's a continuity. That's the only concept behind it. So everything that is impermanent, that we see as impermanent, has to have a continuity. Otherwise, there's no concept of impermanence there. And if everything that is impermanent has continuity, then that continuity has to keep on continuing. Otherwise, there's no concept of continuity again, right? Does it make sense? So philosophically, you start to see, if the continuity stops, then how can I say this is impermanent? There's no development on that. Even though we say kejik means, jigpa means what? To sort of like die, right? Jigpa, right? Jigpa, sort of to die, sort of like. So kejik is momentary death sort of thing, momentary, change, or momentary, what is ceasing, momentarily ceasing to exist. So even though the definition, within the definition that is there, The momentary change is the concept beneath the whole definition. So everything, because everything that is in, so when we look at the world like this, now when we say existence, what is existence? What do you think about the concept of existence? What comes to your mind? Is it form? Is it non-form? Is it the concept of change? Is it the concept of non-change? Or is it the concept of you that makes everything exist? Like I said, the moment you cease to exist, everything, your view, your concept, your everything, your way of seeing the world, this whole thing will cease to exist. Because you only see the external existence based on you, no? Based on your ability to function. Without your ability to function, the existence already gone. So I think one of the true contemplations in Buddhism when it comes to the Madhyamika concept is contemplating on true existence, what they call ultimate existence. This is where the view of emptiness comes into place. We talk about emptiness here, emptiness there, emptiness there. In Buddhism, a lot of emptiness. So why the view of emptiness? To discover the true nature of existence. So definitely I think we can go deeper into this, because this is very related to the mind, and we'll go deeper in that tomorrow. Today we talk more onto the factual, but just giving you an overall concept on how the concept of the mind comes into place. So now you have, like I said, you have the first five segments of the primary mind. You say, okay, that is completely related to the body. But then my body is not me. Or is it? Yeah, this is again another question you ask. Is my body me? When you say me, where do I point down to? There's a philosopher in Buddhism that says, we know when you say a person, then we normally point to the person. Yeah, but then the closer you get to the person, now the confusion starts to happen. Where are you pointing? Is it the head? Is it the body? Is it the nose? Yeah, is it the eye? Yeah. So now that confusion starts to happen. And same thing with when you point to yourself as well. Hey, we normally go like this, right? Me or me. Do we do like this or like this? Like this? Yeah? Me? I don't know. Like this also means good, right? Anyway, so normally when you point to yourself, this is sort of like a generality. But then when you really truly start to see, okay, where am I pointing at? Now it starts to change the whole concept of the existence of the I as well. Does the I truly exist or not? If it does truly, because if it does exist, then it has to be there. It has to be pointable. The only reason I'm saying this exists is because I'm saying, yes, I can see it, I can feel it, I can touch it, I can point to it. This is a pen, I can hold it and I can show it to you, right? So this makes existence so apparent in some ways. Apparent, yeah, we say apparent, yeah. So it makes existence so apparent. And generally, in the concept of Buddhist philosophy, we use the concept of Lagbe Gyuru, means in the palm of your hand. When you have something in the palm of your hand, then you cannot deny that it exists, right? So clear, you can touch it, you can feel it, you can smell it, you can taste it, yeah? How are you going to say it does not exist? So, and this is why they also say when magicians perform, they perform on the stage. They don't perform in front. Because now your concept, you're only relying on one of the senses in order to define the existence of it. So when you can define from all 5 different senses, or all 6 different senses, yeah, the primary concept and the 6 different senses in Buddhism. Generally, I think in scientists we only have the 5 different senses. Some say 6 senses. The mental consciousness can be included into one of the senses, and then it makes the 6 senses. Then on top of that, certain certain schools in the practice of Buddhist philosophy. Now they have other, we'll talk more about that, but then there's all the other senses that are included. But let's go on the general part. On the general part, that is the existence of the I. So defining where the existence of the I and how the existence of the I. Now that one categorizing two parts. One part on the form, one part on the formless. How the proving of the contemplation of the I depending on the formless happens is because each and every form you pinpoint to within the existence of the I ceases to exist in some ways. Easy thing is if I point to my hand, then I can't say my hand is I because chopped off, gone. Right? If I point to my nose, then some people don't have nose. Still the I exists there. Leg, same thing. Then some people now pinpoint to internal things. Yeah, so then comes the heart. The heart. That's where the I exists. Yeah, you keep the heart safe. So then we point to the heart. The heart this is me. I feel from the heart. The I feels from the heart. So therefore, But then nowadays you have hearts that are replaced by mechanical machines. Yeah, people are alive, functioning, able to contemplate, able to see, able to react, able to do everything. And the heart is not there. It's a machine that's pumping the blood around the body. So does that mean his existence of the I is no more there? No, it's already out of his body. So then that is there as well. Then comes to the brain. And now scientific main pinpointer of the scientific the thing comes to the brain. The true existence of the I is the recognition of the brain stimulated with the senses and the cognizing of your, what do we call, your character, identification, as they say, right? Characterization of the identification compiled together by the mind. Then again we say people, oh, he's alive, but his brain dead. His brain no more functions. So now again, whether it's he that is alive or not, whether the I is still alive in him or not, or maybe the I is no more alive and the body is just functioning. So that sense, that seems to make no sense in some ways. Because there's also, anyway, so contemplating on this other thing is again important, because now we come clearer down to the concept of where are you pinpointing when you say true reality of the I. So first we establish true reality, existence, then we establish the recognition of the I. Now combining two things together, the true reality of the existence of the I. Now we're contemplating more into the Dharma. So through that, then we learn about samsara. This is one of the first experiences with Buddha as well. Before he was born, when Buddha's mother was pregnant, then the father, he was a king, so he went to, what do you call that? Astrologer. Then the astrologer told the king, this kid you have two ways. There's two paths. Yeah, if he chooses to be a king, then he goes around and conquers the whole world. Not just the small kingdom that they in Vaishala that existed in those eras. Is now between Lumbini and not just that one, but the whole world. But if he chooses to go and seek liberation, then he will liberate. He will become Buddha. We say Buddha is the enlightened one. So the king say, Buddha, I'm not so interested. I want him to be a conqueror. I want him to be the king, conqueror of the whole world. So because he didn't want him to go and seek, seekers, right? Path seekers. So because he didn't want, then he shut everything samsaric he shut off. There's only enjoyment. There's like in the what do we say, the God realms, as they say. The God realms is somewhat something like that, because there's so much accumulation of merit and so much accumulation of wealth that now the only thing they have to do is to indulge in that accumulation. Indulging in, like, you make so much money, then you just indulge. It's like retirement, I think, right? Whole life work, pile up so much money. Then after a certain age, then you go experience the world, stay in all the luxury places, and that sort of, maybe something like that. I think so. I think that kind of concept. So within merit as well, within the karmic concept of merit as well, this is the same thing that happens. So he created, because he had wealth, so he created that kind of experience within the kingdom as well, so that there's no question about samsara. Then after that, his what do you call, his chariot, his driver, chauffeur, you call chauffeur? Chauffeur, yeah? His chauffeur, one day his driver took him outside the kingdom, and then that's where we say where he saw, was it Gawa now? Birth, no, old age, sickness, death, and seeker, the four. Yeah, so that's where he started questioning. Oh, when he saw an old person, frail, down, skinny, he said, what's happening here? Yeah? Then when he saw someone full, whole body, like, what do we say, sickness. Yeah. Then what happened? What's happening here? What's going on? I never saw this. This is just curiosity, right? Then they saw in India, when someone dies, they carry them in this box sort of thing, white towel covering them on the wood, and then everyone shouting behind, Sakte ho, Ram Ram Sakte ho, like that. Then he said, what are they doing there? Oh, this person is dead. They're taking him to burn his body. And why did he die? So then comes, then because the chauffeur, the charioteer, he didn't have answer to all the questions that Buddha was asking in regards to these three experiences. So then the chauffeur said, okay, but there are, if you want answers, there are seekers. So then he showed, what do you call, a monk, begging with a ball. Then he said, okay, this guy is a seeker. Maybe you can go and ask him some questions, and then you can. So then he asked questions, and the seekers also say, I'm still seeking. Then he said, I also want to seek. I also want these questions, answers to these questions. So that's where the journey of wanting to become enlightenment starts. So because of this whole experience, you start to see that, yes, when you start to question these things, the existence, and then the true existence of the I, then there's a lot of things to discover. We are, in some ways, I think, very, we are in our bubble, in our comfort zone. Then we are societal, what do we call, societal implementation of reality. Yeah, societal concept of reality, what is wrong and what is right, and how we should act and what we should focus on, what's important. Yeah, we never question. Even when when you are a child, then the focus of society is education. Then the education is science, math, English, this, all of those things. But in discovering true reality, in discovering who I am, or the discovering of the I, that is not there. Then you take a few steps further into your life, then I think you can say that maybe India, Nepal, when you reach your early 20s, if you are not a monk, then if you reach your early 20s, then it's, now you need to find a wife, now you need to find a job, a stable income job. That's the important part. There's no question in why there's sickness, why there's death, why that experience of sickness comes happening again and again and again and again, no matter how many times you go to the hospital, doesn't seem to end. It's continuous. Yeah, then our whole life is all about compiling stuffs, compiling that, compiling this. So the continuity of that just keeps on happening. It's important, yes. When you are in the world, and utilization of this is necessary, it's important. But also with that, Also the importance of understanding what reality is. So therefore the Four Noble Truths, that's where once Buddha reached enlightenment, one of the first teachings he gave is the Four Noble Truths. Truth of suffering, then the cause, then the cessation and the path. So there is there. So within the concept of the Four Noble Truths, when it comes to the first one, truth of suffering, then the whole concept, exploration of samsara happens. Why death is certain? Why do we have to die? Why do we not have a choice not to die? Then the time, uncertainty. Even though death is certain, then the time of the death is again uncertain. Some people die at child, some people die in middle age, some people die at very, very, very old age. And that is random. It picks very randomly. Doesn't look at how wealthy you are, doesn't look at how good you're looking, doesn't how healthy you are. You try at COVID, during COVID, we had a friend, very healthy, always on what you call a green plant diet, he calls it, green plant diet, exercising, very healthy. Then suddenly COVID happened and gone. So that again, uncertainty of the death. Then some people very old, in their hundreds, then they're left alone, no one looking after them, they have a very hard life. This one I've seen many, especially in our villages up in the Himalayas. Very old people, no one to look after them. In their hundreds, they're cooking themselves, they're walking around, they're doing everything, they're money. And then when I go out, sometimes when I go out, and then they see me, then they question, I have no reason to live for anyone, I have nothing, my sons are all gone, I haven't talked with them, why I cannot die? So you start to see the true reality of life. Make sense? Yeah. So through that then comes the concept of impermanence. Because of impermanence, therefore uncertainty. Because of impermanence, therefore the certainty of the concept of not concept, but the certainty of death itself. Because of impermanence, then then samsara, suffering, sickness, old age, death, all of that birth continues to happen because impermanence. If it was permanent, none of those will happen. Like I said, if you establish something permanent, then there's no change in it. And this is what we like to do. We don't like to see change, so we try to make everything permanent. First we make a clay cup, then the clay cup, after drinking 2 times, it melts down. Then we make a stronger clay cup by putting fire onto it. Now it lasts a little bit longer, but the moment it falls down, it breaks. Now you say, okay, but not so stable, maybe glass. So now you make a glass cup. So now again, you come. Nowadays you have, then in the olden days they used to have gold cups, silver cups, gold cups, brass cups. And this changed throughout the ages. Brass age, metal age, the ages, stone age. Stone age, they used to have stone cups. You still see them in the museums. So the continuity of our experiments towards making things permanent still continues, and we're still trying to do that. Longer lasting. Now maybe the companies went back a little bit because they saw there's no profit in making something permanent. So they stepped back and they started saying, okay, now we need to make it a little bit more impermanent, so then we can make more profit out of it, right? So even though that is there, our own exploration of how to make things permanent continues to happen. The buildings also now become more and more concrete, more and more structural. But then again, same thing happens. You go to the West nowadays, you come here, you have brick walls which you punch 10 times and you cannot make a hole in it. And then you go to some places in like Australia. I was in Australia recently. and they had to do some sealing work, and I was like, wow, that's not going to be easy. Right here, you need to go like, hit that machine to break the concrete. But then this man comes with a hammer and just goes, there's a huge hole in the wall. I was like, oh. Looks like concrete, but it's not concrete. Anyway, so we start to see that, instead of challenging and trying to make things permanent, maybe it's better to understand the concept of impermanence, because the change can happen within. We try to make change from the external side, is very hard. Who knows, maybe we might succeed. Nowadays I heard they're making plastic blood cells because our blood cell keeps dying, so they're trying to make plastic. You read that?
I just know that medical science is always trying to.
Yes. Yeah, so plastic blood cells. So they saw that the plastic is the most, what do you call that? Non-degradable, like hard to. Yeah, like plastic is the longest, like it's the most permanent thing they found. Now they're making everything into plastic. So something like that, I think. Yeah. So the concept, I think these are really good contemplations to truly search for reality, not reality as we see, but reality as it is. And very, 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 what do we say? Mostly never. We don't even contemplate on wanting to ask these questions. We say, oh yeah, it's life is normal. That's how things are. And if you do ask questions, mostly if you go to other religions, then it's the will of God, it's creation, and God created in that way. Then okay, if someone created that way, then what am I going to ask? Nothing to ask. You can ask why he wanted to create that, and why he wanted to create this. So there's that. I mean, there's definitely that part to explore as well, and you can, of course. But it's good to ask questions. The more you ask questions, the more you can contemplate. So anyway, so through that now comes the whole concept of samsara and the existence of the I. Now, once samsara is introduced, and samsara doesn't seem like such a nice place. Yeah, this, like I said, there's old age, there's sickness, there's death, there's birth, there's all kinds of chaos. And now you look at the world, you see people throwing bombs here, bombs there, killing each other, stabbing here, stabbing there. So it's samsara quite chaotic in some ways. So then, instead of accepting and saying, well, that's how it is, the main question is there something I can do about it? Is there something we can do about it? Then comes the answer, yes, there is. Yeah? This is where the whole spiritual path of Buddhism grows. You are your own therapist, you are your own master. Yeah? Now you start to see, okay, external projection of suffering, of how the whole experience of samsara is happening. Now we start to say, yes, that is an experience, but then experience is completely linked, straight connection to our mind. And this one, I think we can tell from our daily experiences. You go to, let's say you have had a very, 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 I don't know, while you are driving, you got into this guy came and tried, nearly crashed into you, and then now you are raging up and you are angry and then you're frustrated. Now it seems like the whole day is going to be impacted by that. The day is like every day, no change in the days. You go office, come back, do that, do this, come back, same thing. But then your experience of the day would be completely different because of the emotions that are involved or triggered or whatever. And this has to do with the mind. It's nothing to do with the external. This is why I say even your worst enemy has a best friend. And that best friend has a really good time with that worst enemy. Right? When we hate a person and we don't like the character, we don't like the way he does it, then we think that someone like that cannot have someone so loving and caring and having fun, that sort of thing. But in reality, that's not how it is. So because of that, now you start to say, implementations of the mind, how the mind starts to see, judge, view, apply different perspectives, different contemplations, different senses. Now your whole external world is starting to change based on that. And this is what we say influence does. The more influenced we are, the more likely we are going to see it that way. And this is what I think, even though we personally have a little bit of hard time discovering this, when it comes to the method, then when it comes to like what we call giant companies, like Apple, like Google, I don't know, all of these other companies, they know how to utilize that. So when you see an ad, what kind of ad do you see? Yeah, between every what do we say, every video you're watching, they show you an ad, a few second ad. Why do they show you that? Because the moment the mind is imprinted, it starts to contemplate based on that. There's influence in that. So now you discover, yes, there is a way, but the way depends on the mind. Therefore, understanding the mind is the most important aspect, like I said, most important aspect of Buddhism when it comes to liberation. You want to reach true freedom, you need to understand the mind, you need to utilize the mind, and you need to utilize the potential of the mind. And that potential is the true freedom, is the enlightenment. Discovering that potential is the true enlightenment. Make sense so far? Good? Tired? Bored? Sleepy? So yeah, so I think because of that, even to be able to, whether it be dealing with our own mind or whether it be dealing with the people around you or the situation around you, we need to understand that everything is connected to the contemplation of the mind. And the mind is utilized based on your wisdom. The more you know your mind, the more you can utilize it. The less you know about your mind, the less you can utilize it. And the less you can utilize it, the more you go towards emotions. And some people react very fast. React like that. A small bump here, anger burst out. But then some people, even punching them 2-3 times, still they are what do you say, very mild, very calm. So you start to see the different ways, the reaction, and that also changes the result as well. And we know that it changes the result, because after we have done something crazy out of anger, then what comes? Regret starts to come. I wish I didn't do that. This is why I say, if you go contemplating on the things that we have done in regards to emotion, then most of that is, maybe I shouldn't have said that, I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have pushed him, I shouldn't have pushed my mom. A lot of people regret, strong regret after death, because now they see that they cannot change. When you think you can change, then you think you have the power and you think you have the ability, and therefore you're very mild. But then moment you see the unchangeable, the unreversible part, then regret. And I have dealt with people who have this a lot in regards to their family, how they treated their mom, how they treated them, then last minute of death, then full of regret. But now you cannot change. Then because you cannot change, then what you do is a lot of people, they sort of like sink into the regret. And they hold on to the past like this, and the past is full of regret. So now the regret starts to become a part of them, and that creates a lot of emotional imbalance. And that emotional imbalance, now their mind goes into sort of like depression. What do we say? So that's also one of the reasons and one of the parts when you're unable to contemplate through the logical sense, then what happens? So that is that. So anyway, through the practice of dharma, or through the practice that is taught by the Buddha in regards to dealing with the mind, contemplating mind, working with the mind, using different wisdoms and applications, like I always talk about the 10 paramitas or the 6 paramitas, amazing utensils that you can utilize in forming the mind. The mind is like a block of wood. If the more things you have in order to carve and build the block of wood, the more beautiful you can make the, what do you call, an art or a structure out of it. Sculpt something beautiful out of it. So these utensils that you can utilize, it's in you, it's already there. Generosity, ethics, morality, then patience, then joyful effort, stabilized mind, then utilizing wisdom. So these are already there. You have that ability, and you do utilize it, but then unknowingly. So truly discovering that it is potentially there and you can utilize in order to shape this beautiful structure out of your mind, that is in your own hands. This is where the concept of being your own therapist comes into hand. You are your own master, you are your own enemy, and you are your own therapist. Make sense? Yeah? So Dharmapada are of the what do we say, arhats of the Nalanda. Nalanda monastery was one of the one of the hubs for sharing philosophical wisdom in the ancient Indian tradition. Because in India in those days it was not like Hindu. There's many different kinds of mindsets, philosophies, and they would always debate with themselves, not themselves, but internal debates to understand and explore further. And this is Nalanda was one of the sort of like the key points where they used to. So out of that, one of the great arhats, they call, Dhammapada, he mentioned all phenomena proceed by the mind, led by the mind, and made by the mind. So therefore, suffering and liberation both arise within mental experience. Liberation is nothing else. I don't know, in the Christian concept, maybe when you liberated, then your wings start to grow. You got angel, they have wings grow. Then I don't know, some kind of light appear on the head like this. Ring, some kind of ring appear, golden ring appear on the head. So that is not there. So if you want wings, then probably not in this method. So anyway, suffering and liberation both arise within mental experience. Your experience you can change based on your own ability. And this is why I say when it comes to the mind, limitation and ability is knowing your limitation and knowing your ability. That is the true wisdom of how to tweak the mind and transform the mind. Without the knowledge of limitation and ability, then there comes the what we call the true extremes, and nihilism and externalism. Eternalism. Nihilism and eternalism. So there is because there is no application of wisdom. And when I say wisdom, I think one of the means of wisdom is in regards to understanding your limitation and your capability. We always try to overdo our limits, go over our limits, and overdo what we are capable of. Then if you try to do something that you cannot do, then that always leads to problem. So suffering and liberation both arise within mental experience. So because of that, to transform suffering, then one must understand how the mind how the mind functions, and how the mind works from moment to moment. Without knowing the functionality and without knowing how to, what we say, how it works, then transforming it cannot happen. So I like to say, artist, we call artist, artists, they create beautiful paintings, beautiful art, beautiful sculptures, and they are able to do this because they are very skilled in it. Takes a lot of practice. If you have someone who does beautiful painting, very good mixing of color and very good texture, very straight lines, all of this, then it takes skill, requires skills, requires a lot of practice. Then only after that skill and practice and utilization of skill, then he can create beautiful artists. So I say, if you want to become the greatest artist, I like to think of Buddha as the greater artist, because he utilized the skills and means and methods to create beautiful minds. So if you want to become the artist of creating beautiful minds, what you need to know is you need to know the skills and methods of crafting the mind. And the mind can be crafted. It's not as we think. What do you call? Stone-headed. Rigid, rigid and stone-headed as we think. My teacher, Gandhi Teacher Rinpoche, always used to say, "You're stone-headed." You never listen. Stone-headed. So therefore, then understanding that the flow of the mind from moment to moment, understanding the concept between that, now you can utilize what kind of functionalities your minds have, what I call utensils, crafting utensils that you have in order to tweak the mind, and through that then comes understanding. This happens because development happens through consistency, and consistency happens through practice. First, practice, and practice builds consistency, and that becomes a second level of practice. Then through that consistency, then comes application, then comes result. The same thing. This is no different from any job that you are doing. Whatever job you are doing, whatever you're doing in your life, whether it be taking care of your kid, taking care of a business, or I don't know, whatever it may, or even if you're an engineer or whatever it may, same process. It's consistent. Practice creates consistency, and consistency creates skill. And through that skill, utilization of that skill, then you're able to, provide results. So the same thing happens within the mind as well. The mind is no different from any of those. So therefore now comes down to the mind. Semba. Lo, Ripa, Sheba, Semba, I think same synonyms. Lo is based on being able to, clear and observing, right? Not observing. Knowing, clear and knowing. So lo has to do with the knowing. Lo. Rigpa has to do with Rigpa. Knowing of the object. So subject, objective focus. Objective. The able to cognize. That's the word. Cognition. Rigpa, cognize. Then Semba is the mental attribution towards it. Sim is the ability to think, contemplate. Sim. So through that, then Sheba is knowing. So these are all synonyms. So mind has many synonyms. Lo, Rigpa, Sheba. So like I said. So anyway, you Rigpa, normally when we say Rigpa, then you Rigpa is object. You are knowing of an object. Cognizing of an object. That is one of the true functions of the mind. So when you talk about the mind, now there is two different kinds of mind we talk about. One is the mind in its true nature or true form, and one is the mind that is obscured. Yeah, obscured mind. Now, understanding the true nature of the form, or the true nature of the mind, and understanding the obscured part of it, now you understand, this is what I have, but the true nature of what I have is this. And in order to have this, what I need to do is I need to negate the obscuration. I need to clear away the obscuration. The example of the mind is always given to the sky in the Buddhist philosophy. Yeah, the mind is just like the sky, limitless, clear, what do we say? Boundless. Boundless? No boundaries, boundless, and clear. Just the ability to cognize. So it's clear based on awareness. It's able to be aware and then cognizing or knowing. Ability to know and cognize. That's all the mind, the true nature of the mind is. But then momentary reaction after the clear and observing or the clear and knowing, then after that then comes what we call distraction, what we call entertainment, what we call grasping attitude, what we call delusion, what we call ego, what we call anger, hatred, desire, attachment, like all of you bring all of those together. Now the mind, the clear becomes unclear, the knowing becomes unknown. Right? So this is where the whole challenge is. Even though the nature of it is like this, because of all of those experiences in between, therefore the clear starts to become unclear and knowing starts to become unknown. So we know we have the potential of being aware, we have the potential of being focused. But what happens when there is a really good something that is really good entertainment happening right here, then even though we know that my mind is able to be very clear, I know that, but then slowly your mind gets distracted. This is distraction. Then once you focus on the distraction, then the awareness on this side is gone. Of course, awareness is there, but awareness is on the distraction now. Clarity is there, but the clarity is on the distraction now. Right? So yeah.
Do we ever have moments of pure clarity, or is it always conditioned by the distraction?
No, pure clarity always there. I think this one I always talk. Pure what is it? Clear
Clarity?
priority?
Pure clarity?
Pure clarity. So pure clarity, I always like to give the example of compassion. I think, for example, this is one of the times when our hearts are truly in real state. And the qualities I normally say: genuinity, sincerity, and unconditionality. These three are very clearly present there. Inner experience and inner thing, complete. There's no idea, there's no existence of the I there. Full focus on something else. If I give you, I always give this example. I think depending on people they relate to different experiences, but we as human beings, especially in nowadays world, we like cute, cuddly, and innocent. Right? When it's innocent, cute, and cuddly, then our heart melts. So you have an innocent, cute, cuddly puppy, dog. Then someone comes with a bike and hits the dog. That cute, cuddly dog on the side of the road, right? So now you completely, not that you saw someone hit or anything, now you walk past and then you see that injured, cute, cuddly dog. One of the things that happens, a great change takes place in our emotions. First thing is melting. So whether it's a disgusting place, whether the cute cuddly dog is in a ditch, now those things do not matter. Generally it matters, right? Generally you don't want your hand to get dirty, right? Even after touching your hand on the floor, then you need to go with the soap and wash it 10 times maybe, some people. But at that instant, that is completely gone. Then some people, they take their expensive coat off for the dog. This is complete letting go of your, this is not you in reality. Yeah? How you in not reality, but in general, this is not you. How you react generally is you're reacting completely opposite, and no one's telling you to. That's the most amazing thing. Generally, when you buy something expensive, when you want to buy iPhone, it's someone somewhere, something, some entertainment, some, what do you call, some what do you call that?
Influence?
Yeah, some kind of influence, some advertisement, you know, some kind of convincing there. Here, there's no convincing. You are completely letting go. And inwardly, when you are able to do this and able to help them, there's complete joy. Nothing matters there anymore. Just the sense that you are able to help, able to liberate, able to see, what do we say, calm the situation. That's the only thing that matters. So like I said, the qualities that exist: genuinity, sincerity, unconditionality. And the mind that coming out is what we call, what His Holiness calls the supreme emotion. Very clear bodhicitta. Oh, not bodhicitta itself, because bodhicitta focuses on all sentient beings. Now this is very focused on the central sentient being, but still it's like a spark of the bodhicitta. So there's no grasping attitude. There's complete letting go of oneself. Yeah, whether you need to get your hands dirty, whether you need to give your expensive thing, whether the money. Normally when you're giving money, there's expectation, oh, I need something back. But here there's no. Give how much? Yeah, then you take it to the vet, then the vet says, oh, it takes, you know, now, I mean, if you can, I mean, that is right, but the willingness is there. The willingness is definitely there. When you go in the taxi, you go to from here to Boda, and they say, oh, 1,000 rupees, then how can it be 1,000? Only 300 rupees from here to there. But then when the vet says, oh, it's 3,000 rupees, then you're like, you know, complete sacrifice is there. So I think these kind of experiences, they rarely happen. Yeah, the qualities of these experiences rarely happen. But when they do, then I think this is one of the pinnacle points of your total joyness, total letting go of yourself, total embracing of others, and total joy in that. Well, that makes sense?
Would you say there's like a kind of liberation there?
Definitely, definitely great liberation, I think. It's like a small taste of true liberation. Make sense? It's truly, I think, an experience that you have to experience once in your lifetime, because the joy amounted in that, the true nature of your mind amounted in that, the awareness. At that moment, if someone comes and shows you a video, entertaining video, I don't think you will go, oh, forget about the puppy. Complete focus, clarity there. And someone convinces you, it's dirty, don't touch it. Still, complete letting go. There's no judgment of dirty and clean and this, and you're completely letting go of all obscurations there. So the true nature of the mind starts to appear in times like that. And this is just an example I gave, but this happens throughout our life with our most loved ones. I think most experience come not with our enemies, but with our most loved ones, whether it be your partner, whether it be your mother, whether it be your father, or whether you have, you know, some people have, I don't know, close siblings, very, very, what do you call, precious siblings. Then some people have precious friends. Then when those friends and siblings and family members, whoever loved one is in a desperate situation, and you have the capability and ability to do something, and you actually do it, now there is that letting go, complete letting go, and that joy is immense. Well, until you expect something back, then that's when the joy disappears. Right? The moment you bring the expectation into this picture, then the joy disappears. The moment you say, okay, tomorrow when the puppy is well, then it has to recognize me and it has to wiggle its tail and it has to come and lick my feet. Now there you start to see the joy disappears. Because the grasping attitude comes up, the joy cannot exist there. And momentarily, we expect joy to arise, but that expectation is unfulfilling expectation. They say within the scriptures, unfulfilling expectation. That joy arises out of the grasping attitude. That cannot happen. Because the joy only arises focused on others. Maybe happiness, there is a sense of happiness when I buy myself a, I don't know, what now, iPhone, iPad, this big TV, big house. Happiness is there, but that also momentary happiness. But when you talk about joy and happiness completely different. Joy ceases to exist. So anyway, something like that makes sense. Yeah. So definitely the moments within our own experience of clarity, that also happens. I think for a lot of people, this experience also happens during meditation. During meditation, they go into deep thought. And they start to see all the senseless things in life. All the useless, senseless, that you're putting so much effort and you're putting so much, blood and tears in, and you're getting nothing out of it. Does that happen? Sometimes some people actually experience that. This is called renunciation. Renunciation, right? Renunciation. True humility. Not humility, what is it? Grounded. What is the other word for grounded? No expectation, like complete. Not surrender.
No expectations.
Yeah, humility maybe, yeah.
Rejection.
That is a good word, huh?
Rejection.
No, not rejection.
Altruistic. Altruistic. You have no expectation, you are altruistic.
Yeah,
No
altruistic maybe.
selfish. Yeah, altruistic.
Yeah, maybe altruistic. So, a sense of altruism actually does come. We say the non-dual perception. That arises when you, like I said, when you contemplate on nature of your existence, when you contemplate on the nature of your reaction towards things, when you contemplate on the nature of the important things that we normally perceive, a lot of questions come up, a lot of answers also come up. And when there's clarity, I think then again you reach that point where there's complete, what do you call, altruistic?
Yeah.
Altruism?
Yeah.
Yeah, so where there's clear altruism, or what Buddhism calls renunciation, groundedness, where you, that's I think one of the first times you actually feel yourself. Generally we don't feel ourselves, we feel ourselves based on others' impression. Have you noticed that? Everything depends on others' impression. You don't look in the mirror and you say, oh, I look good. You look in the mirror and you think, do I look good? Then you need to go to your friend and say, do I look good? Then only when your friend says yes, that's when you say, okay. This is just how our mind is manipulated into contemplating about things. We don't look at ourselves the way we need to. When it comes to the mind, I always say you need to look at your mind like your own child. Look after your mind like your own child. When you look after, the way you look after your child, there's no judgment, there's no validation, it's true love. Complete love. Even if someone comes and says, your child looks very ugly, you still say, no, beautiful, right? Yeah, don't listen to them. You're beautiful, we say. Do we do that to ourselves? Most likely not. Most likely not. So if you're not taking care of yourself like you're supposed to take care of your child, then how are you expecting yourself to grow like you're expecting your child to grow? You cannot. Two complete separate ways, no? Blaming, scolding, shaming, you are not, you cannot live up to it, you have not done good enough, you're that, you're this. You put all those there, then how do you expect yourself to grow? Through wisdom, in practice, in reality. So we understand, we're not supposed to look at ourselves the way we normally look at ourselves. We need to have a different perception in how we need to look ourselves. And this is through the understanding of the mind. Make sense? So I think utilizing our ability, so within every practice of Buddhism, the first step always comes to understanding your mind. Who you are, what you want, what are you searching for, what is your desire? And based on that, then the practice changes. No? So this is, I always say, this is 84,000 teachings of the Buddha. All the 84,000 teachings aim for different things. And because the mind is all over the place, and the mind, each and every mind in this room is completely different from each other. There's no one same mind. Though the nature of it is all same. Then when it comes to obscuration, when it comes to momentary, what we say, momentary influence and all of that, then everything that we have gone through until now, whether you are 10, whether you're 20, whether you're 50, whether you're 60, whether you're 30, doesn't matter. Every experience that you're carrying on your back from the past, this makes, shapes how you perceive, how you think, how you contemplate. And then we think, no, I don't have a choice. I don't have choice, I don't have ability, I can't do this. Even in the Buddhist, there's a lot of this, talk about enlightenment. Me and enlightenment, no, so far off, so I cannot touch. Especially when they talk about the 3 eons of accumulating the merit of 3 eons. What the text talks about, how to accumulate 3 eons of merit in order to attain enlightenment. 3 eons? Yeah. 3 eons of lifetime. No, 3 lifetimes of
3 countless eons.
3 countless eons, there you go. 3 countless eons of merit. Me and I don't have the time to get 3. Forget about the ability. I don't have 3 eons. So that, because of those things, now our perspective already changing on how to view things. So we definitely need to learn to be kinder to ourselves if we want to see ourselves grow. We definitely need to learn to look at ourselves from a different perspective. We definitely need to learn to not look at ourselves from the external projection of how people think and how people believe you should act and you should think and you should behave. These ones you need to let go. That's too much burden. To be frank, I think that is too much burden, just walking around with a huge bundle of expectations on your back, and then trying to, you're already suffering in samsara, already there. You have to go old age, sickness, death. You already have so much on your hand. On top of that, you're carrying this huge bundle of people's expectations, people's view, and how people think you need to. And then now you're walking in samsara like this. Show yourself some kindness. Show yourself some love. Know that your development comes from your ability to look after your mind. Because that's where, like I said, karma starts from the mind. Doesn't start from others saying this and others saying that. It starts from your mind. Your ability to contemplate. When things make sense, then that's when the contemplation happens. We talk about conviction, right? So through sense, then conviction, then application. Aren't you tired of applying on nonsensible things that people label and people put and people design and people create and expect? This is a little bit hard, no? No matter who it is, when it comes to you and says, "Oh, you should do this, you should do that, you should," they are thinking, they are basically expressing their view of themselves onto you. If I think I need to control my anger and my anger is creating so much problem in my life, then I come to you, what advice will I give? Don't become angry, don't become angry. But then when you make me angry, then I... This is not the method. So definitely, one of the best ways to figure out what truly works for you and how truly things truly work for you, that comes from internal implementation, internal discovery of your mind, how your mind is, of your emotions, of your experiences, of the things that you have in order to in the utilization. So if you depending on external for trust, for faith, for that, for this in your own development, then the world is already destroying itself. How you're going to put your faith in their hands? Yeah? So therefore, the Buddha nature that exists within us, that's where the hope, the faith, the true, okay, here you go, this is my mind, work with it, please. And that's where you go and do that. You go and do that with someone who is all over the place, then who was it? Offer his eyes and got the eye. Asanga? I don't remember. Anyway, one of the great practitioners, he was practicing generosity. Then they say one old or either someone came, didn't have an eye, and said, "Please, can you give me your eye?" Then out of great compassion and generosity, he took out his eye and gave it to him. Then he walked away. But then later when he looked back like this, then this old guy was, what do you say? Yeah, crushing the eye. So utilization of wisdom, very important. If you don't take care of the eye that is there, other people you cannot depend on in that regards. Your mind is yours to take care of. If Buddha could take care of your mind, and if Buddha could somehow wave of the hand, enlighten your mind, then he would have. What are you waiting for? This is the concept of karma, right? This is the concept because there's no creation, there's no creator. And this is the concept of cause and conditioning. And cause and conditioning externally is very easy to prove. Scientists believe in it. All the biology, chemistry, physics, where do you think all this comes from? This comes from cause and condition, the concept of cause and condition. Without the utilization of cause and condition, none of this will exist. Everything that does not have cause and conditions are left as theories. Because they cannot what do we say, they cannot chase after the not chase, but they cannot figure out where the continuity of the Big Bang before the Big Bang. Therefore Big Bang now only a theory. Because they cannot prove it, there's no continuity in the concept. So it becomes what? A theory, which means not proven yet. There's still questioning there. So external cause and condition, very easy to prove. Internally, you also need to apply the same means. Though the form, the nature, the experience, the that, the this, everything is different, the color, everything is different. Even though this is different, the functioning of the conditioning, cause and conditioning, continuity is the exact same. Tea time?
Yeah, tea time.
Okay.
I googled it. The name was Sariputta.
Huh?
Sariputta, that offered the eye.
Yeah, Shariputra.
Yeah. And we can have a break now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Tea
tea
break?
time.
Yes.
Tea time, stretch yourself, don't get tired. Boring class that is.